June 11, 1944, just outside Tilly-sur-Seulles, Normandy. Morning mist hangs low over the hedgerows, beating on steel and canvas, muffling sound and distance. You are crouched behind a Panther tank with Lieutenant Karl Fischer, Panzer Lehr Division, as his gunner peers through the TZF-12A sight. The radio crackles. American armor is moving again. The first Sherman appears between the hedges like a boxy silhouette cut from fog, high-sided, flat-faced, unmistakable. Fischer exhales through his nose, almost amused. "Schon wieder diese Blechkisten," he mutters. "Tin boxes, again." His crew has faced them before. In the weeks since the landings, Panthers and Panzer IVs have knocked them out at ranges that felt almost unfair. The Sherman's armor is thin, its profile tall. Its gun, usually a 75mm, struggles against German frontal plates. German crews joke that American tanks are built for parades, not real war. "Target, 300 meters," the gunner says. The Panther's 75mm KWK-42 fires. The shot cracks through the hedgerow and punches into the Sherman's glasses. The American tank erupts orange flame, black smoke, a hatch blown open. The Sherman burns fast, violently. Inside, ammunition cooks off with sharp pops. The crew watches without celebration. This is expected. Another Sherman edges forward, then a third. Fischer raises his binoculars. They are advancing cautiously, infantry tight against their sides, rifles and bars scanning the hedges. One Sherman fires blind into the greenery. Another reverses as the Panther's turret swings. "Idioten," the loader laughs. "They never learn." The Panther fires again. Another Sherman dies. By noon, the field is littered with wrecks, blackened hulks slumped nose first into ditches, tracks blown apart, turrets frozen at odd angles. German crews mark kills with chalk. Spirits are high. This is how the war is supposed to feel. Technical superiority, clean engagements, proof that German steel still dominates. But then something strange happens. As the afternoon wears on, Fischer notices movement behind the American lines. Not new tanks advancing, but recovery vehicles, tracked tractors, armored wreckers, smoke screens blooming to hide them. Under artillery fire, American crews hook cables to disabled Shermans, some burned, some merely immobilized, and drag them back, inch by inch, into the tree line. By dusk, the battlefield looks emptier. That night, German crews sleep beside their tanks, engines ticking as they cool. Somewhere beyond the hedgerows, American motors run late into the dark. 2 days later, at dawn, Shermans come forward again. Some look familiar. Same dents, same bent fenders, fresh paint hastily sprayed over scorched armor, new tracks bolted on. They are not new tanks. They are the same tanks, returned. Fischer frowns, unease creeping in where confidence once lived. This wasn't supposed to happen. The return of those Shermans gnaws at Fischer as the days grind on. Each engagement follows the same rhythm. German gunnery is precise. Panthers knock out Shermans at range. Smoke, fire, silence. Yet the next morning the Americans are back, sometimes with more tanks than before. By late June, the hedgerows around Tilly-sur-Seulles have become a graveyard of metal. But unlike the Eastern Front, the wrecks do not stay dead. After one sharp engagement on June 18th, Fischer's Panther disables 2 Shermans with track hits. The crews bail out under covering fire. German infantry cheer. Easy victories. That night, rain falls hard. Under darkness and artillery smoke, American M31 tank recovery vehicles crawl forward. Winches scream, chains clank. Disabled Shermans are dragged rearward, their silhouettes swallowed by mud and trees. 2 days later, Fisher recognizes one of them. The same Sherman rolls forward cautiously, its turret ring scarred, weld seams rough where new armor plates have been hastily added. A white star has been repainted, crooked and fresh. The tank fires first this time. The shell misses, but that is not the point. "What in God's name?" the Panther's loader whispers. Reports begin filtering through Panzer lair. Tank commanders complain that American units seem immune to losses. Intelligence officers dismiss it at first. They have many tanks, they say, but they are inferior. Yet numbers begin to matter. American formations no longer advance in timid lines. They probe, absorb losses, pull back, then return again and again. Shermans don't duel Panthers head-on anymore. They flank. They coordinate with artillery. Jabos, American fighter bombers, scream overhead whenever German armor lingers too long. One afternoon, Fisher's Panther is forced to withdraw after rocket strikes crater the road ahead. When he returns to the same position 2 days later, the ground is churned, the hedges shredded, and American tanks now hold the crossroads. Not Tigers, not Panthers, Shermans. Behind the scenes, the reason becomes clear. American logistics units operate relentlessly. Spare engines arrive pre-packaged, entire powertrains swapped in hours. A Sherman knocked out by mechanical failure is often back in action within a day. Crews rotate, tanks do not rest, but they endure. German tanks, by contrast, begin to vanish, not always from enemy fire, but from breakdowns. Final drives fail, fuel runs short, spare parts don't come. A Panther disabled by a broken gearbox becomes a permanent wreck. By early July, Fisher realizes something unsettling. His kill marks grow, but his platoon shrinks. Each American loss is temporary, each German loss is final. The Sherman, once mocked as thin-skinned and crude, is revealing its true strength not in armor or firepower, but in persistence. It keeps coming back. By mid-July, the fighting around Normandy has changed character. What began as sharp clashes has turned into a grinding contest of endurance, and endurance is something the Americans seem to possess in endless supply. Fisher receives a briefing from Battalion Command near Villers-Bocage. A captured American maintenance manual is passed around. The diagrams are simple, clean, almost insulting in their clarity. Entire assemblies designed to be removed, replaced, repaired without specialized tools. "This is not how German tanks are built," one officer says quietly. He is right. Panthers are marvels on paper, powerful guns, sloped armor, but every repair demands precision, time, and parts that no longer arrive. A Sherman, by contrast, is forgiving, rough handling, mud, rain, inexperienced crews. It absorbs abuse and continues. On July 18th, Operation Goodwood begins to the east. The sky fills with bombers. Though Fisher is not directly under the bombardment, the radio traffic is frantic. Entire German armored units are being smashed or scattered before they can even engage. When contact resumes days later, the Americans attack with confidence, bordering on recklessness. Shermans roll forward, knowing some will die, but knowing more will replace them. Fisher's Panther knocks out 2 in quick succession. A third Sherman fires smoke, reverses, survives. Minutes later, artillery falls, then fighter bombers. The Panther withdraws again. That night, Fisher counts his remaining tanks. Once 12, now 5. Across the lines, American armored divisions rotate units. Fresh crews arrive. Tanks roll off landing ships, already painted, already fueled. Replacement Shermans appear faster than German intelligence can count them. The psychological effect is crushing. German tankers stopped celebrating kills. They stopped marking turrets. There was no point. Destroying a Sherman no longer feels like progress, only delay. One captured American tanker, taken after his Sherman is knocked out by a mine, surprises his interrogators. He is calm, almost relaxed. "We'll get another one," he says. "We always do." By late July, Fisher understands the truth that no technical manual can hide. The Sherman is not meant to win duels. It is meant to exist, to be everywhere, to deny the enemy rest, to trade metal for momentum. When the Americans break out at St. Lo, German lines begin to dissolve. Panthers retreat, run out of fuel, are abandoned. Shermans advance past them, engines humming, radios alive with traffic. The war Fisher trained for, the war of elite machines and decisive shots, is gone. This is a war of factories, repair depots, and endless replacement. And in that war, Germany is losing. August heat presses down as German forces fall back toward the Falaise pocket. Roads choke with wrecks, some burned by enemy fire, others sabotaged by their own crews. Fisher abandons his Panther after the transmission fails for the third time. There is no fuel to tow it, no parts to fix it. He watches American Shermans roll past days later, advancing through villages that German armor once dominated. Some bear scars, weld patches, replacement road wheels mismatched in color, but they move. In a captured French barn, Fisher overhears two officers speaking in low voices. "We can destroy 10, one says. They bring 20. There is no anger in the statement, just exhaustion. By the time Paris is liberated, the conclusion is unavoidable. The Sherman was never meant to be perfect. It was meant to be replaceable. A machine built not for individual glory, but for continuity, crew after crew, unit after unit. German tank crews mocked its thin armor, laughed at its height, counted its weaknesses. They failed to count its return, because every time a Sherman burned, another rolled forward, and sometimes the same one did, patched, repaired, reborn. In the end, it wasn't the Panther's gun that decided the campaign. It was the fact that the Sherman kept coming back.